Should you use a visa agency or should you do it yourself here in the Philippines? The Philippines has several different types of visas available. I'll go over some of that information. I've been here 7 years, 3 different trips, and I've applied through visas through the immigration offices a number of times myself. I will share some of my own experiences, as well as I've talked to a lot of expats and tourists, and I've heard about some of their experiences, some good, some bad, and anyway, I'm going to share some of that information with you as well and help you decide whether to use an agency or try to work through it yourself. Of course, the tourist visa is the easiest to apply for and to extend, and you can do that for 3 years. If you have not traveled internationally before, this is what a passport, the inside of a passport, looks like. You come into a country and you get a stamp or a receipt, something like that. Philippines ran out of stamps a while ago. I'm not sure if they're still giving just receipts instead of stamps. But anyway, you get stamped into a country and you need to get stamped out of a country. And coming to the Philippines right now, most countries, you're allowed 30 days a free visa on arrival. That may change to 59 days. We're still waiting to see if that law passes. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I think about 70% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed yet, and hit the notification bell. I put out 2 to 3 videos every week. I cover cost of living, travel videos, real estate reviews, condo reviews. If you want to see what they look like inside, you can find that on my site. There are also ways to support the channel. At the bottom of the video, there is a YouTube link where you can click and make a small donation. There's buy me a coffee and PayPal as well. Back to Philippine immigration, you will find that there's lots of immigration offices here in the Philippines. Some are regional district type offices. They can process most applications. There are they're smaller offices, and there are some things they cannot do, for instance. And you might have to travel to a larger city like Cebu City, Iloilo City, Manila, something like that, Davao City, in order to process some applications. Tourist visas are quite easy to extend, and I did mine for I think a couple of years myself. I would extend for 2 months or 6 months at a time. And I did get tired of setting aside half a day or longer, because it often only took me, I would be there at 8 o'clock or earlier, often only took me a couple hours, but a couple times it took me 3, 4 hours. So you never know. I had to set aside that part of the day to go down there and do that. So there are a lot of things I would rather be doing than sitting in a waiting room waiting to process an immigration extension. I have always gone in prepared with my paperwork, done the research, and it's gone fairly smoothly. Although I have seen a couple of people get declined there. Not sure why they were declined, and they weren't told why they were declined. They weren't very happy. As I stated earlier, the Philippines has many options as far as visas, and they're talking about there's a law pending that maybe go into effect, that they're going to reclassify visas and I guess increase the number of visas. They'll go by A and B and C types, tourist, marriage visa, business visa, working visa, student visa, medical visa, investment visa, retirement visa, many other types of visas as well. For several years now, I've been using an agency. They've got offices throughout the Philippines now. Cebu City, Angeles City, Manila, I think they just opened up, Davao, Moalboal over on the west side of Cebu, Dumaguete, maybe a couple other places I'm not aware of. And I have them, they pick up my passport, they take care of all the paperwork, they bring it back to me when it's done, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. I will put the little clip of their explanation of SRRV Retirement Visa at the end of this video. Now, in the last several years, I have talked to many expats. Some of them have done their own marriage visa or their retirement visa, SRRV. I think marriage visa and the retirement visa are the most popular, and especially retired military get a really good deal on the retirement visa. This is not a paid advertisement, by the way, but just for your information, I hear have talking to dozens and dozens of expats, some who've done it themselves, some who have had good luck, some who have struggled with it, frustrated with the process, others who have used JRC, and they walk you through it, and it's done relatively painlessly. And that has been my experience, is that I can hand them, they get me to sign the paperwork, and they know a few things. They know the language, English. These immigration people, they deal with people from hundreds of countries on a weekly basis, and communicating is an issue. They speak the language, they know the system, they know what the people are looking for. There is a way to fill out the forms that are more likely to be approved. For instance, even though you can fill out the form and it sounds great to you, all of your answers and explanations. To tell you a little story, my father, on a farm when I was in high school, I think, or I was in college, I came home and he said, we applied for grants from the federal government or state government to get such and such work, road work done or tiling done, and kept getting declined. And we finally hired, and my father isn't one to spend money frivolously. They finally decided to hire a consultant, and the guy knows what the government is looking for. He knows how to answer the questions, and it was approved. It was approved. So the same thing can happen here. The people at JRC, they've been in this business. They know the people, they know the language, and they know the system. They know what types of applications get through faster than other types of applications. One thing you don't want to do, which will probably extend your frustration, is to start arguing with immigration people or any other agency employees. Confrontation is a no-no here in the Philippines and many other countries as well. But you'll probably just delay your application. And I've met a number of people who got very frustrated. One was applying for the retirement visa, SRRV, and he went up to the PRA office, Philippine retirement people, and he started arguing with them. Why isn't my application approved yet? And anyway, he probably just delayed it much longer than it had to be. The third group of people, the people who do it and are relatively happy with the process, I generally hear, I think the great majority tell me that, well, it took longer than I thought. I didn't have everything filled out properly. I had to go back and get copies of this and pictures of this and notarizations of these things. And one thing, using somebody like JRC, they know the rules, they know what's required, and they can have you put all that together, so you don't have to do that. Taking many trips to the various offices to get done what you need to get done, and I've been with them when they've taken a couple of my friends. In fact, some visas you need to get an NBI clearance, National Bureau of Investigation, I think. You need to get a physical, for instance, and I've been along with them, and they lead you right along. What would take you maybe 2 or 3 days or longer doing it yourself, going in, waiting in line, they can get done in one day, possibly even just an afternoon or morning. I feel that I am quite competent in applying for any of these visas, but personally, I've got better things to do. It's not something I want to spend time filling out paperwork. I still do my own taxes, but it's not something I enjoy doing, and I would rather not. I would rather not spend time doing the paperwork, a little bit of stress, frustration, the time, whatever. I have better ways to spend my time. So here's a clip from JRC, kind of really quick outlines the SRRV, the retirement visa, which is very popular here, and a really good deal for retired military. In fact, I don't think you have to be retired. If you're properly discharged, that will qualify you, I think. There's also a link in the description of the video. In the description, I'll put a link to JRC's website, and there's a link in the first comment of every video as well.
If you're planning on settling in the Philippines, apply for an SRRV. SRRV Classic and Courtesy is the most commonly applied as they have the most flexible and affordable terms. With SRRV, you will have the option to reside permanently in the Philippines, and you can have multiple entry and indefinite stay privileges. You will also be exempted from these following things. As our commitment to customer success is unmatched, hear our clients talk.
I'm Greg, and I just got my SRRV, and I appreciate the service. It was very easy to get it done. Everything was taken care of fast and effortless. And I would recommend JRC helping you out.
So I received my retired visa, and I'm really satisfaction from SRRV Visa consultancy for all. It's very fast and no problem. So thank you for the service.
So anyone who wants to use JRC to obtain an SRRV, I highly recommend them. They're very efficient, they're very friendly, and they get things done quickly.
Looking forward to see you at home in the Philippines.